We had quite a unique session last time where we took an example from the world of what it means to be Ish Milchama. We saw how General Eisenhower, I don't think he was a general then, but at the beginning of the war, how hard he was working, he and others, etc. And that showed us what an Ish Milchama is. A man of war is incredibly dedicated, 7:45 to 9:45, not stopping for his father's funeral hardly, not going to his father's funeral. Incredible. And the reason we shared all that, I remember, was just to understand a little bit what this Yetzer Hara fellow who's against us is doing. So I thought it was, before going on to the next Perek, I thought it's such a central idea of this Perek, this idea of this Ish Milchama, the one who's taking us away, and that was an idea that the Mesilas Yesharim obviously wants to concentrate. So it's very important to be marchiv as a dibur, to explain a little bit more of these concepts. We're just trying to run through Mesilas Yesharim as fast as we can and finish it, but we want these concepts to become part of us and to be mamchish them to ourselves, to make them real to ourselves. Otherwise, we're just reading. And that's certainly not what the Holy Ramchal means to tell us. So I'm going to share a few more thoughts about the Yetzer Hara, just built on Chazal, some that we know, some we don't know. So the Gemara in Sukkah Nun Beis, this is around, in these Gemaras, I think that's where we have the famous idea of Kol Gadol Mikaver Yitzur Gadol Mimenu, which itself is a whole thing, all right? And that's right here. Yeah, it's Nun Beis. But that's not what I want to share. I want to look at a Gemara before that, which is kind of scary. And if we're scared, it's good. I'll see. Darish Rav Avira V'Tamer Rabbi Shua ben Levi. Shiva Shemos Yesh Lo Yetzer Hara. Whoa. The Yetzer Hara has 7 names, no less than 7 names. What are the 7 names? And it's not only 7 names, the authors of these names are different. It's not like Chazal just came and said, oh, here's 7 aspects. Let's see, who was the first one who called this Yetzer Hara something? You know who? Our Father in heaven. HaKadosh Baruch Hu Koro Ra. It's bad. Shnemar Yetzer Lev Adam Ra Min Urav. Bad. Moshe, next one we see, interesting, the others we don't find them calling the Yetzer anything. Interesting point. Moshe Karo Orel. Moshe called like an Orel, like Orla. An Orel, an uncircumcised person. An Orel. Sometimes that expression is used as he's an Orel. So then Moshe called him an Orel. That's number 2. Shnemar Umaltim es Orlos Alavchem. David Karo Tameh. So it's a Kadosh Baruch Hu, Moshe David. David called him Tameh. Shnemar Leiv Torah Baroli Elokim. Right? Leiv Tahor Baroli Elokim. Mechlal De'ika Tameh. Right? Since David spoke about Tar, so we can infer that there's Tameh. So David called it Tameh by inference. Shlomo Karasone. Someone called it an enemy. Shnemar Imrav Sonocha Chileo Lechem. A very important pasuk and a big lesson, but now is not the time. That is a pasuk in Mishlei. So David called it a Soneh. Shlomo called it a Soneh. Yeshayahu, the great Navi, Karl Michshol, a stumbling block. It brings a pasuk. And finally, Yoel, what did Yoel call it? Tzfoni. Not Milashon Tzafon, north, but Milashon Tzafun, the hidden one. Shnemar, it's a Tzfoni Archik Malechem. Incredible. Mashu. I think that's the simple pshat, not north, language of north, but language of tzafun, hidden. So let's review the names for a second. Ra, Orel, Tameh, Soneh. I think I missed some, wait. Yeah, I missed some. I missed Yechezkel. I'm sorry, Yechezkel Navi called it an Evid. So Ra, Orel, Tameh, Soneh, Michshol, Evan, Tzfoni. 7 names. Now, why should this scare us, friends? And why am I smiling, right? I'm smiling because it's very Torah, You ever go to a drush on there's a very Geshmak Aram in the Mir Yeshiva, so I heard him, I don't want to say his name right now, but I heard him one time speak on Tisha B'Av. It was so Geshmak, you couldn't not be happy. He meant to speak about the Chorban, and he was speaking about the Chorban, but but he spoke with such geschmack. He's a very big Ram, Rabbi in the Mir Yeshiva. He brought, I think he even mentioned them, and like, oh, we're getting too into it, but the Torah is enjoyable. But Rabbi said, why should we be scared, huh? Let's get serious for a second. We should be scared because a name is mahus, right? The Karok, Adam Arishon called Shemot. Everybody knows this. The Shem is a definer. If your name is Elisha, if your name is Abigail, it says something about your essence, about your mahus. Parents have a certain Ruach HaKodesh. Rabbi Kamenetsky and others say when they name the child, everybody's heard that concept, everybody knows that concept. A name is something special. A name is an essence. If the Yitzhar has 7 names, it means there's 7 different ways he can get at us. He gets us in a Ra way, and he gets us in a Tzafon way, and he gets us in an Evan way, and things like that. So that's the first thing I wanted to share, just about the Pachad, this Ish Melchama, this Mechadish, this Miskaber. Sometimes he's coming us in this way, sometimes he's coming that way. But I wanted to share an amazing comment, which is deeply relevant to us, from the Sefer Ein Elio. I believe that's Rav Elio Rogler who wrote it. And he says like this. He says that, and what's the progression, right? There's a lot to work on this Chazal, right? One could certainly ask, why was the Kadosh Baruch Hu calling it this and Moshe calling that? He's getting into that a little bit. It would be very interesting to talk about like how the essence of Moshe saw this and the essence of David saw that, essence of Shlomo saw that. He's not going with that, but he's just going into the chronology. You see what I mean in a second. That chronologically, there's a difference in approach and understanding of the Yetzer Hara as the generations went on. And we'll think about it, what it means to us. So I just want to share his approach, which I think of the Divrei Torah is, again, incredible. So Kadosh Baruch Hu, obviously that was the first. He calls it Ra. Kemishu Ra be'etzim below tarovis tov. Ra means Ra, right? Everybody knows what Ra is? Ra. It's bad. Nothing good here. It's below tarovis tov. And then Moshe called it Orel. So Orel, even when you think about it, so a person has an Orla, right? Well, non-Jews never get rid of their Orla, the physical Orla. A Yid gets rid of his Malta Orla Slavav, the Malta, we mal our bodies. We all talk about what it means at the Mila, but what's the Ra exactly? Can you explain to me what's wrong with the foreskin exactly? That's part of you, right? So it's less nikar. That's the point I want to bring on. Kadosh Baruch Hu calls the Yetzer Hara Ra. Boom. Pure, absolute, essential negativity, a destroying force which is coming against me. Moshe already, it was more mellowed out. Pachos nikar kasrono. And then it's called Tameh, which is not really a chisaron at all. When we talk about a shemen that's Tameh, it looks exactly the same. Timu kol hashmanim. You say, I'm Tameh. I'm not Tameh. Imagine, thus we use the word Tameh a lot in halacha, so we're very aware. But imagine explaining to a non-Jew. Non-Jew maybe can understand there's something extra on your body, the foreskin, you have to cut off this Tameh. What's Tameh exactly? What do you mean Tameh? Well, it's like ritual impurity. Oh, so it means it's like a leprosy. It's kind of like comes out of the skin. No, it looks exactly the same. You look exactly the same. So what happened? Well, I walk over a grave, yes, and through walking over the grave, the tumah, the impurity, the impurity rises, affects you. Come on, is this the boogeyman? Like the boogies? What are you telling me? Right? So it's less nikar. So stage 1, Ra. Stage 2, it was only Orel. Stage 3, it's only Tameh. It's still negative, right? Now we understand. We're not Jews. We understand what Tameh is, and the more you learn Tum and Tara, and the more you learn these topics, so the more it's alive to you. But it's only alive because we've learned so much about it. But it's something that's less there. Oh, this is wonderful, huh? What a pshat. The Soneh. So what's Soneh? It's the next generation was Soneh. I think that was Shlomo. Hamela called it a Soneh. Shu al kol panim ish. It's a person, right? Today is my enemy. Maybe tomorrow will be my friend. Soneh can be moved around. My enemy's enemy is my friend. So no, Sonehs. That's already, we're not even talking about deep spiritual concepts. It's a Soneh. It's an enemy. And then finally, Umichshol. That's michshol, stumbling block, something you can pay attention to. It's there in front of you. You can avoid a michshol. It's just a michshol. An Evan. Okay, so stones are nice, right? What's wrong with a stone? Because that was I think Yecheskel called it right. Yeshaya was a michshol, and Yecheskel was a stone. The Evan in a so what was the problem already? If it's a stone, what is the problem? Stones are nice, right? People collect stones, collect rocks. A rock collector, you make money. What my rab is that? And finally, listen, this is the worst part. The worst thing is, it's phony. It's inside of us, and we don't even recognize it's ra. Umedama atzmu hosu mitzvah. A person can be doing membership there. I'm gonna, this person came into the community. They made a cheder, quoting the Chazon Ish here, and they're taking away the students from my school, and I can say lashon hara about them, and rechilas, and make machlokas about them, and it's a mitzvah. Guess what? That's one big yetzer hara. And halacha, they're allowed to open the school. You don't like it, your problem. You're not the nirdaf. If you run after them, you're the rodef. Right? So many other things. We think it's a mitzvah. I'm talking to myself. We think it's a mitzvah to say lashon hara about this person. It's a mitzvah. It's a mitzvah to say lashon hara about him. Oh, he's not a Talmid Chacham. You sure he's not a Talmid Chacham? You sure it's not Bizay Talmid Chacham? Are you sure? It says by Bizay Talmid Chacham, ein trufel makasa. The Gemara in Shabbos says. Ryan Leib Steinman said that's why there's so much cancer. I can't say such things. He said it. Because based on this Chazal, it says, ain't trufel makaso. We know there was a community that was mezalzel and a big Talmid Chacham, and children died in that community. I don't say such things, but it has to be said, and it did happen. It was a known situation. It's a mitzvah. That's the yetzer hara inside of us. I should see this. I should do that. I should talk to her. I should do it. So that was the progression, awesome progression. And what the Elia Rogler is saying, what the Ein Elio is saying, is that the perception of the yetzer hara through the Doros got weaker, and they didn't perceive it, if you go to Madrigasam, on the same level. Now, let's imagine where that leaves us, right? So the Safon, right, was Safon. Who called it Safon again? Yoel. Yoel was one of the minor prophets. Before Bayesheni period, I don't think he was alive at Bayesheni. I don't remember this Chaim Machali Zachariah, but around that time, I don't know exactly when it was, but that's already the minor prophets, right? Treyasar. Okay, but we're a long way from Kansas. I mean, if already in Yoel's time, the perception of the yetzer hara had come down, that means this is why it's so important, friends, for us to be talking about it, for me to be talking about it, to myself, because it's so hard for us to recognize that the yetzer hara is really an enemy. And that's why I'm talking about this. And I really am talking to myself. I'm really talking together with you. And we have no chance, as I have said many times, we have no chance of success if we don't recognize the enemy. I mean, that's the Aleph Sheb Aleph. And we see, Lefi this Pshat, how built in the Bria it was, that the perception of the Ra, the yetzer hara, is getting less and less. Kadosh Baruch Hu b'chod b'atzmos called it Ra. But already by Moshe Rabbeinu, the perception was less. It's Arel. And by David, it was only Tameh. And then it was only a Sone. And then it was only a Michshol. And then it was only an Evan. And now it's Saf, and it's mamash inside of us. So that's why we have to be so aware of it and daven for Siyata Dishmaya. And what a good thing to daven for. Kadosh Baruch Hu, help me be close to you. Help me beat this yetzer hara. Help me beat this yetzer which I don't even know. Help him which he's hurting me in ways which I know and hurting me in ways I doesn't know. And he's drawn to Mocha. When I'm sleeping, he's awake. And when I'm a little bit awake, he's more awake. And when I'm working hard, he's working harder, and etc., etc., etc. Help me to be aware of this. Help me not to fall to his. Help me not to fall to his machinations. Incredible. I want to share, just to close this session, with a little from the Heilige Piasetzna. Piasetzna, Klonomus Kalmish, the Rebbe from Piasetzna, so famous as the Baal Chovas Talmidim, and as the for his other svarim, especially the one of the Holocaust, right? So famous. But he has a wonderful sefer called Saba Zeros. I highly recommend it. Short little pieces. It's not exactly biographic, but it's a little bit more biographic, which is always very powerful. People complain they don't have books about Gedolim they can read. Well, there are books that the Gedolim wrote about themselves. You can certainly read those, right? The Yavitz wrote about himself, and the Chidah wrote about himself. Many interesting things. It's Saba Zeros, so it's not a biography, but it is like thoughts of the Oved Hashem Amiti wrote about himself. And here in Sefer Tzav V'Zirus Tes Zayin, I first heard this piece from my Rebbe Reb Blachman. I remember him telling it to me. Elizabeth, listen. Efsher lecha l'rachik et yitzracha. It is impossible for you to move your Yitzhar away from him. Bilti in gam tisnaya. You got to hate him. You got to hate him. Well, but he's helping me get to my ultimate tachlis, ra tomod. You have to hate him. Tisnaeo, right? Ultimately, everything has a purpose. That's not our job. Our job right now is not to make meaning out of the Yitzhar. The Yitzhar is meaningful. He's okay. Don't worry. He doesn't need you. He doesn't need you to make him meaningful. Hu b'seder gamor. Baruch Hashem. He's doing fine. Yeshakach Yitzhar. Don't worry about him. Yeah. Worry about us. Worry about your own definition. We're trying to give definition to the Yitzhara, give meaning to the Yitzhara, and at the same time we're doing that, he's destroying our meaning. You have to hate him. Lo ratzon shlo la'ava lo bovad tor b'kirbucha. Don't just say I don't like him. Rak gam sinna elav, hatred al sharotza la'abdach mibeis olamas. He wants to take you out. Because gadol olav, be very angered on him. Al shemetashdesh edatcha v'libcha, be angry at him that he confuses you. Be angry at him that you wake up with all types of great ideas about how to be a better Eved Hashem, how to help society, how to help the Jewish people. Your lave is turned, you want to daven, you want to do the right thing, and suddenly everything gets confused and everything gets turned over, and suddenly you become sad and depressed and unfocused and wasting time, and you're looking at your phone during davening as opposed to doing what you're supposed to do. V'rak only when you hate him, az yakelecha l'kovsho. Only then can you conquer him. If you don't hate him, you got to hate him. You got to be angry at your enemy. It's not like you don't go to war. War is not a liberal activity. Otherwise, we shouldn't have to go to war. It's not. Okay, Hamas. Look, they also have a derech. They're misguided, and no. And at the beginning of the war, there was this one of our chayalim was so gavaldig. I don't think I saved him. He says, you came into my land. You killed my people. I am going to kill you. That's the way you fight Hamas. These are not our friends. These are not nice people. Lolum yargiz adam tov ali yitzhara. Rogiz vikas. Incredible. So that's what, don't take my advice. Take the advice of the great Savaziris, the great Rebbe. He was the man. He was, Eish Kodesh. Right? We know who he was. We know how he lived. And that's what he says to us. And he was someone who rose above so many things. You're not going to win. You have to hate him. Not just I don't like my Yitzhar, not just I'm uncomfortable by him. I have to hate that. That part in me which can destroy me, I hate it. And I want to get rid of it. And only through that can I control it. Hashem should help. That we have the right attitude to Yitzhar. We catch him for his machinations. We keep fighting together. And with that, Bezrat Hashem, we'll see you in Mashiach Tzidkenu.